Hello everyone. Thank you so much for joining. You're welcome to our monthly webinar. We're very excited to have you all. Before I start, let's know who we have in the room. So if you're on this call, can you just go on the chat box and just write which country you're joining from? Let's use this as our check-in. We would like to know where you're joining from. If you're here, just go on the chat box and just type the country you're joining from. Would like to know who is in the room. Come on, guys, let's go. Let's go. Hi, Josh from Rwanda. Thank you for joining and nice to meet you. We have a lot of people on this call. Would like to know where you're joining from. Let's make this as our check-in. Hi, Ogunjimi from Nigeria. So we have Rwanda, we have Nigeria. Hi, Lamti from Ghana. Charlie, thank you for joining. We have Romeo from Rwanda. We have Romeo also from Rwanda. So we have Nigeria, we have Ghana, we have Rwanda. Come on, guys. Let us know where you're joining from. Who else is joining? Can I see some entries? There's Emmanuel from Ghana, Romeo from Rwanda. Hi, Andrew from Rwanda. So we have a lot of people from Rwanda in this call. Hi, Uche from Nigeria. So we have Ghana, we have Nigeria, we have Rwanda. Amazing. Thank you guys for sharing. So without taking much time, I would like to start by introducing myself. So my name is Elisha, but you can call me Kenny, and I work with terratalent as talent consultant and project manager. And yeah, before now, I've lived in multiple countries, Ivory Coast, Tanzania, and Uganda, but I'm originally from Nigeria, and I currently work with terratalent here in Germany. At the end of this call, you get to know more about Terra Talent, also how we can support you in terms of living or schooling in Germany, and then you get to know other members of the team as they also share during this webinar. So this is the agenda flow. We'll try to make this very interactive and not so theoretical, and then yeah, we'll tell you a bit about Terra Talent, what you are currently doing, and an overview about international students in Germany, how to understand university applications, what are those requirements, and DAAD is like the German government scholarship. So yeah, you also get an overview about the scholarship and what it takes to apply and how it can support you moving to Germany. And most importantly, the visa requirement, what is the cost and the waiting time. Will give you an overview. And for those who want support, can now subscribe to our talent services where we can help you with these applications. And next slide. And you so Tetera Talent is a young consultancy company. In as much as we are young, but we have a lot of experiences with two founders, Martin and Bukart, who are very, very well experienced with over 20 years of experience in terms of immigration, business support, and international talent acquisition. Overseas exchanging between companies in Germany, in Asia, and also in emerging market like Africa. So our expertise, as I mentioned, is primarily in Asia and then also in Africa. But we have a global network as far as the Middle East, like in Jordan, in Turkey, and other European countries. So our slogan is "We Move Talent." So we have a lot of partners. We have educational partners and we have corporate partners. We have the African Berlin Tech Network. So this is like a network that is built to really grow a community, to exchange ideas between Africa as a continent and Berlin as a city, to see how we can connect both ecosystems together. We have a partner in Uganda, Collaborate, who we work together on projects in skilling tech talent in Africa. We have also Sam Alsik is more like our immigration partner. We have PayPal Connect. We have TerraSign, who is more like our big mother company. Yeah, we have educational partners like Moringa. There is nobody from Kenya. If you're in Kenya, you should be familiar with Moringa. We have TechQuest from Nigeria, Art School. They're also in Rwanda. I think those who are from Rwanda should know Art School. We have Train from Ghana. We have Yotiva. We have Malengo, who they are doing a great job in supporting Ugandans in moving abroad for bachelor's program through funding. Yeah, so we like to build collaboration. We love to partner with partners because we believe in the power of collaboration to help us achieve our goals. And we have more partners coming up in the coming months. Next slide. So we in the last 1 year we've been on delegation trips. The idea of these delegation trips was basically to, expose the German ecosystem to what is happening in Africa. Hi, Florence. There'll be time for question and answer. But for those who already have a questions, you can please feel free to already use the chat box and start typing in your questions. But we'll have time for questions and answer. Yeah, so we've been through a lot of the delegation trips in the last 1 year, trying to expose the ecosystem in Germany to Africa. We're trying to pitch Africa to these companies and tell them that yes, Africa has talent. We visited a lot of schools, like we were in African Leadership University. You can see this picture. This was in ALU. We've also been to Cochrane in Ghana. We've been to Ashesi University, which was also very impressive. We had a meeting with the career office. So we've been through a lot of, even in Kenya, we're in Kenya as well, in Nairobi. So we've been able to engage with a couple of partners on ground in Africa. So this is just to show you some of these beautiful pictures of our touch point in Africa. And yes, so right now, yes, we have one of the pictures. Thank you, Paul, for pointing that to us. So right now, I'll give the mic to an amazing lady. She's my colleague all the way from Manchester, but enjoying her life in Germany. She will give more insights about this study abroad, focus on Germany, studying of application in Germany, and then I will also come in, and then I will also invite Paul, who also works with us to share his own story. So, drum rolls, guys. Let's send some drum rolls for our next speaker, who is Denika. Come on, guys, drum rolls, send some reaction. Let's make her feel special.
Thank you very much, Kenny. Yeah, so as you said, I'm from Manchester in the UK. My name's Danica. I've worked here at terratalent now for 2 years. Yeah, it's a year and a half. I don't even know. But I've been in Germany for 2.5 years now. I didn't go through the study route. So Kenny and Paul, as we'll find out later, like they came here to study. So they have a bit more of a personal experience of this. But yeah, I'm pretty happy here. But yeah, just to carry on with the slides. So I'm starting off here with just a kind of overview of the origins of international students. So Germany already has quite a large population of international students. And as you can see from the map here, yeah, there's India, China, Turkey, Austria. Yeah, just a few. I mean, not a lot in, say, the top 15, I think, countries who supply international students. There aren't really a lot in, yeah, sub-Saharan Africa. As you can see here is Morocco, Tunisia, Egypt, and Cameroon. The Cameroon is a bit of an anomaly here, but yeah, we have countries like obviously Austria is a German-speaking country, so a lot of people come from there. But India is the largest source. So traditionally it was China, but in recent years, I think it was 2022 when India took over. They contribute now 49,000 students. So I think this can be explained by a few things. So Germany has quite a large appeal for STEM students. So many Indian students enroll in courses like engineering, IT, yeah, these kind of technical fields. And a lot of courses in these fields are being offered now in English, which is obviously yeah, beneficial to a lot of international students, not just Indians, but a lot of people who yeah don't speak German. Um, Education in Germany is affordable. So depending, as we'll discuss later, we're going to go through the different kinds of higher education institutions, but most higher education institutions in Germany are tuition free. So you pay a semester contribution each term. So yeah, there's a reason. I mean, we'll see on the next slide that the number of international students is increasing each year. So I think for a while Germany wasn't really on the radar when it came to studying. I think yeah, a lot of students choose to go to say the UK or the USA or Canada, but I think a lot of international students are realizing now that Germany is probably the more affordable option. Of course, tuition in the US is crazy. In the UK, it's also pretty expensive. So yeah, so here you can see on the graph there are two different kinds of international students. So these are the Bildungsausländer and the Bildungsinländer. So the Bildungsausländer are the students who got their higher education entrance qualification abroad and moved to Germany for university. And the Bildungsinländer are students who don't have a German citizenship, but they completed their education in Germany. So, say for example, their secondary school qualification or the Abitur, for example, or if they already did a bachelor, this kind of thing. So yeah, there's been quite an overall steady increase over the years. Yeah, so that's about a little bit of the background. So these are the types of higher education institutions in Germany, and the focus areas and the degrees they offer, and kind of yeah, just a breakdown of the key differences. So the universities at the top there are 120 across Germany, and these are mostly tuition free. So these are yeah, the state universities, and I think it's only in one state where for non-European Union students where tuition fees are required. I think this is in Baden-Württemberg. And I think it's 1,500 euros per semester for non-EU students in this federal state. But yeah, they have a focus on methodical and theoretical knowledge, and it's a research-based final thesis. So these typically a lot of them follow the normal bachelor, master, doctoral route that most of you will be familiar with. And as we'll discuss in a later slide, there are courses in, say, medicine and law and dentistry that follow the state examination route. So I'll be discussing in more detail later on. We have next the Fachhochschulen. So these are the universities of applied sciences. Yeah, there's more of these than the normal universities. So these are the practice-oriented yeah, programs. So these are your programs like engineering, IT, business, design. These courses have a strong link to industry. They again also follow the bachelor master system, but in some cases a German diploma. So this isn't something to be mixed up with what you probably already know as like a diploma, so a secondary school diploma or bachelor's diploma or whatever. So this is a very specific to Germany. So this it was historically an academic degree in the subjects of engineering, natural science, and economics, while the state exam assisted alongside for law and medicine. But the German diploma has been pretty much phased out now. So most universities are opting for the more familiar bachelor master route, but there are still some universities that offer the German diploma. I think for engineering mostly. But students get a choice between the two. There's not much difference between the two, I would say, anymore. I think you would have to ask a German for that. I can't say exactly, but yeah, the German diploma is, yeah, I think I was asking my boss before, it's a in the German diploma for engineering, it's a Dippel-Ing. That's like the letters at the end of your name when you get your qualifications. It's just Dippel-Ing, and it just sounds funny. But anyway, moving on. So the third institution is colleges of art, film, and music. So as you can probably figure out with the name, these are programs focused on the more creative subjects. Again, it's practice oriented, and the admission is based on your merits of portfolio. So I think maybe they're a bit more lenient when it comes to your entrance qualification grades, but you still have to have a pretty good portfolio, or dependent on the university, what they require you to have in your portfolio. And again, it's bachelor, master. And then again, these are also mostly tuition free. But yeah, just to reiterate, it's a talent evaluation determined by a portfolio. And lastly is the private colleges and academies. So again, clues in the name. These are institutions separate from the state where the student has to pay tuition fees. So these fees usually range from around 5 to 20,000 euros per year, so they're pretty expensive. But the admission, however, for these universities, for these colleges and academies, is a bit more flexible, and they have higher acceptance rates. Again, they're linked to the economy, linked to industry, and they have an international orientation. And again, they follow the bachelor, master, and doctorate route. If anyone has any questions, just you can write them in the chat. We can try and answer them as we go along by typing. My colleagues can try alongside the slides, or we can come to them at the end. So if you have any questions, you can write them in the chat. So I'm going to bring Kenny back to talk about finding degree programs, how to look, and to give some kind of hints. I mean, he's done this already, so he knows probably a bit more than I do. And then he'll talk a little bit about admission requirements, and then I'll come back.
Thank you very much. That was a very nice overview from my colleague, Danica. So before I talk about finding a degree program, I would like to tell you guys a very short story. I finished growing up from an English country like in Nigeria. We are fascinated about going to school in the UK, or we want to go to school in Canada or US. Nobody talks about Germany because people from English countries or French countries assume you need to know German to school in Germany. I think that was a wrong impression. I spent 4 years applying for scholarships to school in the UK, but every single time I apply, I was always getting admission, but I was never getting the scholarships. And UK is extremely expensive when it comes to tuition fees. Yeah, you need to have a lot of money to school in the UK. And I've worked with a German company even before I came to Germany. I've had a lot of German friends. I've got the opportunity to work with Germany even before the lockdown with a company in Germany as a student doing my internship. But I've not really been exposed to the education in Germany and the kind of opportunities this country has for young people. And fascinated to 2022, 1 year after the whole lockdown and everything, I just realized that you can actually come and school in Germany in English. Germany has a lot of international programs where you can study 100% in English. So one of the missing thing I had was lack of information, lack of the right channel. I didn't know this until 2022. And what I also found out was Germany also have public universities where you can study tuition free. This means you are not paying school fees. So these two findings changed my career journey up till today, and one of the main reasons why I came to Germany. So most times, people from English countries don't know this information. They feel like UK, US, Canada. And that is why we are doing this webinar to show you the opportunities that you can actually come and school in Germany. And also, it's not only even in masters, even in your bachelor's, there are bachelor's programs that are in English that you can already apply for those who are in high school or trying to transition through bachelor's program, 100% in English, and they're also tuition free. Many students apply for private schools and they struggle to pay the school fees, but there are public schools that support you to study tuition free without going through the stress of paying tuition. That is very, very expensive. So the question, why I'm telling this story is just to share my own experience. The question is, how do you find these opportunities? What kind of degree program do you even find? One of my biggest mistake I made was I had a bachelor's in agriculture, and because I have built my career in business development and human resources, and I've also done a mini MBA. So I spent 1 year wasting my time applying for masters in MBA or business programs in public universities, and I was always getting rejected. Why? In Germany, the education is a bit very different from the UK. In UK, I was always getting admission in MBA or entrepreneurship or innovation programs. But in Germany, you need to apply for a master's degree that is aligned with your bachelor's degree. So that means I cannot study a bachelor's in agriculture and I'm applying for a course on a different field. It doesn't work like this in Germany. So it's very important to understand that to find your right degree, it has to be related to what you did in your bachelor's. And that is why I came here to do my master's in sustainability in terms of international agriculture. So, and I got the admission on my first attempt. Why? Because this was something that is aligned with my bachelor's degree. So there are many ways to find programs to study in Germany. And one of them is C. I like this, My German University. Yeah, you need to go through this if you want to apply for programs in Germany. Then we have this Compass and we have this DAAD. So DAAD is like the official government's website, and here you can find any program you want to study. Yeah, so this three platforms are very, very good option where you can find something in terms of applying for masters or even for anything regarding studies in Germany. So the higher education compass, you can see there is degree programs, there are doctoral studies depending on what you're looking for. And then you see they have over 22,000 results. Then you see the DAAD is also very good. It has the My Guide page. Yeah, you can take your time and go through the process. And then we have My German University, which has almost all the schools in Germany where you can study for any program. So what we do in terratalent is we can only give you an overview, but for those people who feel like you might need support in terms of getting a very good application, or maybe you need support in applying for the scholarship, or maybe you even need support in preparing your accommodation, your application to get the admission up to supporting with the whole visa process, accommodation, then you might need to supply for our talent services. Yeah, and you can check our website for more details. We'll also share the information at the end of the webinar. Next slide. So you might want to know what are those requirements. Like I said, if you want to apply for masters, you have to have a recognized university entrance qualification. My German is not so good, so I don't know how to pronounce this word. Maybe Tetenica might be an expert in speaking German. Yeah, to pronounce this in German. Yeah, but you need to have a recognized university degree. That is something that is recognized in Germany. So you need to have this, but not only this, you need to also have your transcript. You need to have a very good motivation letter, and this is where terratalent comes in to support you in getting this done. Then here you can also look at our database on the admission requirements. So technically, I'll tell you for fact that if you are doing an English program like me, I would say 70% of the universities will ask you to have an English test. There are different courses and they will ask for English tests. Not 100%, but at least some of them will ask you. And the English test varies. It can be IELTS, it can be TOEFL, it can be PTE. So each course have their own requirements. So there is no general requirement. General requirement is you have to have your recognized university degree, your transcript, your CV, and your cover letter or motivation letter. Some schools might ask you for a research proposal if you're applying for a scientific study. Yeah, but these are the general. But English test is always recommended for some countries and not all countries. Can you go back first a bit? Yeah, so this is something that is very, very important. And I think Ghana being is a platform where you can already check if your university is already recognized in Germany in the database. So this is a website for Anabin. And for those who need support in all of this, you can always reach out to us and we can support you on our services. Yeah. Thank you, Danica. You can go to the next slide. Yeah, so the language requirement, yeah. So German, of course, is a language for instruction for most degree programs at undergraduate level. But even with this, we have some few universities where you can study 100% in English. Yes, of course, because it's a German country, the majority has to be language taught. But we have a lot of schools that you can also apply for undergraduate in English and also tuition fee. So depending on your program, you might need a German language proficiency, depending on the program. Yeah, and these are the options of the German language proficiencies you can get. But I think, to be honest, I will always recommend to really, really, if you have not learned the language, you can start by applying for English programs. And these are the English requirement, like I had mentioned. Even me, I had my IELTS before coming here. I had my IELTS exams when I was living in Uganda. So you can also do TOEFL. I had mentioned PTE. PT is also widely accepted. There is also Cambridge A levels, but there are some countries like Ghana. I think Ghana has a very good command of English. So most times I've seen for students from Ghana, they usually ask them to just tell the university to provide a confirmation that they did their studies in English. So some countries are usually exempted, but not all. But recently things have changed because some students feel like it's a bit biased. Why are some countries exempted and some are not exempted? So right now they feel like even the Germans who are doing international language have to have English tests. So this is what I can share with regards to the admission requirements. So if you have more questions, please feel free to write in the chat box. And now I will hand over again to Dedenika.
My microphone. Thank you, Kenny. Yeah, so yeah, that's just a little bit of an overview of yeah, applying, finding your course. Sorry, and a bit about the admission requirements. And yeah, like you said, depending on your course, yeah, you'll need either German or English, even sometimes maybe both. Maybe your course is split between German and English, maybe then you need both. But yeah, Kenny mentioned before the DAAD. So I'm just going to give you a bit more of deeper um, a deeper dive on what the DAAD is. So if you are going to study in Germany, this is probably something that you'll most likely come across. So it stands for the Deutsche Akademische Austauschdienst, or the German Academic Exchange Service. So this was founded actually 100 years ago, 1925. And it's an organization supporting international academic exchange. And it's one of the world's largest funding organizations for international academic exchange. So it supports students, researchers, higher education institutions, academics from Germany and abroad by providing scholarships. So there it says over 100,000 scholarships are offered annually. And providing funding and information about studying in Germany. So the scholarships are usually merit-based and or need-based scholarships for international students, and these can support either bachelor, master, PhD, or postdoctoral studies. There are also a myriad of special programs for developing countries. So there are a few programs in and across Asia and Africa, and there's some programs focusing on women in STEM and research mobility. But the details about all the different programs that they offer on their website, and it's definitely somewhere that if you go on their website, you'll be able to find information about programs that may benefit you or scholarships that may benefit you. But like I said, there are so many of them on there, so I can't detail them right now. But this is kind of like an overview. These are screenshots of when you come onto the DAAD website and you go in to look for courses. This is what it will look like. So at the top there, where it says Higher Education Compass, here is just a basic overview of all the different courses that are offered all over Germany. So this will be German and English courses. But then if you go on to, you can also focus it. There is also a page on there. It's called International Programs. And these are your programs that are taught in English. So there you can see it's 2,428. That's pretty small for me. But yeah, there's quite a few courses on there. And you can filter for the course type, if you want to do bachelor or masters, or you can tailor it to a field. So yeah, it's a pretty important organization to know about if you're thinking of studying in Germany. You can also find on there information about language and short courses. So these are the courses that you may need to take, for example, say if your high school qualifications aren't recognized as equivalent to the German counterpart. So the German counterpart is the Abitur. So if your foreign qualifications aren't recognized as the equivalent to these, then you would be required to do a foundation course. And this is called a Studienkolleg in Germany. And this is to kind of ensure that you qualify to study. Or you can also find language courses on here. So say if you want to do a German course, or if you want to learn in German, then you of course need to learn German. And here you can find language preparation courses too. In some cases, these can also be funded through scholarships, but again, it's on a needs and merit-based basis. So yeah, it's definitely worth looking at if you are interested in doing a German course. And for some courses, you're only going to be able to do them in German. So this is, for example, these kinds of courses. So medicine, dentistry, veterinary medicine. So, but this is also going back to the state exam that I mentioned before. So yeah, so I'm just going to put a bit of a focus on the state exam and subjects where you would need to do the state exam route. So this follows, this is different to the bachelor master system. And it's a German government licensing examination that future or exam for example, lawyers or dentists, I'll just say vets, physicians, pharmacists, etc., that if you want to work in any of these kinds of fields, then you need to do the state exam. So these are very competitive programs. So here it says numerus clausus, and this is like a national numerus clausus. So these are admission requirements that are set nationwide. And yeah, again, you need a secondary school diploma equivalent to a German Abitur. You may need to take a Studienkolleg. So say if your qualification isn't recognized as equivalent to the German Abitur, or say, I don't know, you for some reason didn't get the right grades, then you could do the Studienkolleg. And for these kinds of courses, you would normally need a language proficiency at German level C1. So again, this is where you would make use of the language preparation course. Kenny mentioned before about Anabin. So Anabin is is a massive database where you can find if your course is recognized here in Germany. So this is typically for if you've been to university already and you want to see if your bachelor's is equivalent to the German counterpart. You can check it on there. You can also check vocational studies on there. But for example, if you want to work in these kinds of fields, then you have to submit an application to the Central Office for Foreign Education. This costs about, I think, off the top of my head, I think it's 150 euros. And then they will then let you know, of course, if your qualification is recognized and if you can pursue studies in these fields. And again, here at the bottom, some scholarships are available. So again, there's a DAAD and then there's the Deutschland Stipendium. So so that's for the state exam. And here, just a little bit about the application procedure. So subject with essential numerus clausus. So again, this means that the number of applicants is greater than the number of available places. So this means that they put some kind of restrictions and make the course a bit more competitive. So this here at the side, subject with an central entity, these are your courses like medicine, dentistry, law, for example. And in these courses, you send your application directly to your chosen university. So on sites like DAAD, My German University, you can use these sites to find your course. And if you find a course that you think interests you, you think you would like to pursue, then usually there is a link on there and then it sends you directly to the website. And then that's where, if you go onto the application section of the website, that's usually where you would directly apply. Here on the right, it says subject with a local NC or no NC. So a local NC is a local numerus clausus, and this is limited to just one higher education institution. So yes, it's specifically limited to one subject at one German university. So it's not like the courses in medicine or pharmaceutical or whatever, where it's these are nationwide admission requirements. These are just set by the university itself. So if the university has these or it doesn't have any of these requirements, then you have to find out if the university is a member of UniAssist. So UniAssist is a site used by many universities, not all, but quite a few. And this is a site where you can apply to multiple universities at once. But quite often there is a fee. I think pretty much always there is a fee. It depends on the course and it depends on the university. Of course, I think maybe they range between 30 to 80 euros per application. But I'm not sure on that, so don't quote me on that. But if the university is a member of UniAssist, then you apply for UniAssist. And if it's not, then you send, just like with the subject with Central NC, you send your application directly to the chosen university. And here, as a note at the bottom, for private universities, you always apply directly to the university. So private universities don't use UniAssist. And tuition fees. So yeah, pretty much we've mentioned already. Since 2014, most German universities are state-funded, meaning they are tuition-free or charge very little tuition fees, except for the federal state of Baden-Württemberg. I think I said at the beginning, they charge 1,500 per semester, I think it is. But they do require a semester contribution of around 250 to 350 euros, and these cover costs like administration costs, student union contributions, cultural events, and your semester tickets. So this is your travel tickets for using the public transport. And there at the bottom, private universities are not tuition free, and again, they're very expensive. So yeah, I would recommend one of the tuition-free universities, if I'm honest. So yeah, so now the good stuff. This is visas. So this is just going to be basically a brief overview because obviously we're coming to the end now. We want to save some time for question and answer. But if you have any questions, of course, you can reach out to us. You can reach out to our talent services. Reach out using our talent services page. But yeah, just to finish off, so this is a slide just covering the different types of student visas available for international students in Germany, and just like a little table outlining the key requirements for obtaining a study visa and the purpose of the student applicant and the preparation visa. So there are three types of student visa available for people who want to study, and this is the student visa. So this is for those who have already been admitted to a university in Germany. There is the student applicant visa, and this is for I think as it says in the name, for students who need to apply to universities while in Germany. And there's the preparatory course visa. So this is for students, as I mentioned before, who may need to take a language course or a student colleague before enrolling into a degree program. This is the visa that you would go for. So for the study visa, here you can see the requirements. So yeah, you need first and foremost your university admission letter. So you've applied for university and they've accepted you onto the course. And then this letter is what you need to use to apply for your visa. Proof of financial means. So this is the big one. This is the big hurdle for obviously many people. So students need to show that they can support themselves financially, and the way to show this is having 11,904 euros in a blocked account. So of course this is a big hurdle to obviously many people, but that's just that's just how it is, I'm afraid. There is you have to have a valid passport, of course. Health insurance, this is mandatory for all students in Germany, so you can go for the statutory or private health insurance. And you need to submit your visa application form and biometric photos. These need to be submitted at German embassy or consulate in your home country or one that is your closest. I know not every country has a German embassy. The proof of German or English language skills if required. So yeah, if you're studying in German or you're studying in English, then you need to have a certificate showing that you can learn in this language. So these are the requirements for the study visa. We have next the student applicant visa. So if a student has not yet received an admission letter, you can apply for an applicant visa. So this is valid for 3 to 9 months, and it allows students to enter Germany and apply for universities. Again, a blocked account is required and to prove that you can financially support yourself while you're here. And the preparation visa, again, as said already, is for those attending language courses or foundation courses, and for students whose foreign qualifications do not directly meet the German university requirements, and they must later switch to a full student visa. So this has to be converted into a student visa later on. And cost and expected waiting times. So the visa application fee is €75. Your health insurance, these are pretty much estimates, but health insurance is around €120 per month. Rent it depends definitely on where you are, how you're living, which city you're living in. So this is a range between 300 to 700. So say if you want, your own studio apartment in Berlin, for example, it's probably going to be a bit more than 700 now, actually. But if you're living in like a big shared house in, like, I don't know, rural Brandenburg or something, then I don't know, maybe then it'll be go down to 300. So it definitely depends on where you're going to be and how you want to live. Living expenses. So this is just an average, but of course, I mean, maybe again, depending on where you live and how you live, it could be much more or much less than this. So, but the average is €934 per month. But this is kind of the average that they then, this is the average that they base the calculation for the bot account on. So, so all of this, so depending on how long you're going to be here. So if you're coming on a student applicant visa, for example, and you're coming here for 6 months, then you have to have however much that is times 6, so around 6,000, just under €6,000 per month, and this has to be sat in a blocked account. Their processing time is around 6 to 12 weeks. I would say this is pretty ambitious. In some cases it will be, in some cases maybe it'll take longer. So this is also where we can come in, because quite often, say if you have a document missing or a certificate missing or whatever it may be, then it would take much longer, because then you have to wait again for another appointment, and it all gets pushed back. So so this is like where we can help make sure that you have everything you need, and make sure everything runs as smoothly as possible. And online it does say apply at least 3 months before your course starts. I've written 4 here, just to, I would even say maybe 5. I mean, it really depends, and waiting times can be crazy. And like I said, if something is missing, then it can push things back, and it could take quite a long time to process. So I've written 4 months there, so I would expect at least 4 months for processing time. But that's pretty much everything for today. So just to finish off, as Kenny and I have been mentioning throughout, we have been mentioning our talent services. So if you do have any questions, or if you need support on a very specific to you issue, with regards to visa applications or stuff like this, you can reach out to us here. But I would say Kenny's back, so we're open if you have any questions. The recording will be put onto YouTube. I think we'll be sending an email out once it's edited and stuff. We'll send it in an email to the people who have attended today. Just to answer that first question. But if you have any questions, feel free to write in the chat.
Thank you very much, Dedenika, and that was very helpful. So one thing you should know is that currently applications for the next semester is already open for most universities. So for those who want to come and study in the winter semester, that is September, October this year, applications is ongoing for most universities. Like some schools are already open now in April, and more schools are opening in May. So, and if you feel like you might need support in how to apply, if this information we just shared is not enough, you can just scan this QR code, and this will take you to our talent website. Our talent website is different from the main terratalent page. So yeah, you might need to check talent.terratalent.de, or you can scan this QR code then we can take up the conversation from there. Then we have a YouTube channel for those who are asking about the recording. Let me look for the YouTube link, or even on Google, just on YouTube, just search for Terra Talent. Yeah, it will take you to our YouTube page. We've done a lot of webinars and you always find this here. So you might need to just check, and then I'm pretty sure this will be helpful for those who want to find our YouTube channel. Yeah. So like I said, application is ongoing now, but I would like to give maybe Paul 5 minutes to just tell us the story. So I came through my own blog account. I didn't come through scholarship. So Paul is our colleague. He's originally from Ghana and he has been in Germany for close to 4 or 5 years now. So he can just tell his story about how he got his scholarship applying from Ghana. I mean, I'm not a scholar. So, but Paul is our scholar who is now working full time with terratalent as a marketing and also a consultant. So he can share a story on how he got his scholarship and maybe share some tips because even scholarship is already open now for most of the courses. So Paul, I don't know if you are there to open your video, and yeah, you can use this to wrap up in 5 minutes and then we can take the last questions. Is Paul in the office? Okay. That's the king of Ghana. Paul, can you open your microphone?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. Hello, guys. I'm Paul, originally from Ghana. Yeah. Initially, like, I think there's a DAD office in Ghana where you can actually go for an information session, and then you'll be helped with that with regards to a scholarship. But just to clarify that, I went to a private school, so I didn't receive my scholarship from DAAD. I received it from my school initially. So I went to the Berlin School of Business and Innovation in Berlin, and they have a scholarship program for students and then a discount as well. So that is what I used. And then to refer you back to the statement of study application, it's based on two things: what you've actually studied and then your experience, your work experience as well. So let's say you studied agriculture, but you have more than 2 years experience in, let's say, as a sales manager or something, then you can apply for a sales master's in Germany, for example. So that actually also works. So yeah, but I went to a private school, paying fees of less than 10,000 euros because I had a scholarship, and then the scholarship took 50% of my fees off. So it made it cheaper. Initially, I didn't come to, my plan was never to come to Germany, as Elisha said as well. We all always think of the United States, the UK, Canada, and then so on. But what I did realize is comparing these English-speaking countries to Germany, even though I had to pay fees, they were still cheaper. In most private universities, you tend to pay between 6,000 to 13,000 a year, or for the whole program in general, which is quite cheaper to paying, let's say, £15,000 strictly, or £16,000 a year in the UK. But in general, if you have the opportunity to go to a public university where it's tuition free, then you should take that option. If we all had that option, we would always take it, right? But the only thing you should understand is it takes time due to bureaucracy. And then the private institution, on the other hand, like, makes it faster for you to get to Germany because your admission is faster in that sense. There's less competition because no one wants to pay fees in general. So that is dependent on you, your finances, and what you think you can afford. You can afford. You can afford for, if I'm right. So yeah, that will be my experience in general. Just, if you feel like studying in Germany, choose between the two, between a public institution and a private institution. If you have the patience to wait and then to compete for open positions with everyone around the world, then you can go for a public institution. If you want a faster route, then you should take a private institution, but you should always also consider your block account because that is going to also hurt your finances in a way. So depending on what you think is best for you, you should go for it. And one thing you should know is after studying in Germany, you always have a year and a half, 18 months to look for a job. So you are given a job seekers visa of about 18 months to look for a job. And then within that period, if you're able to find something, you get a job and then you get a work permit to stay in Germany. After working in Germany for about 2 years, then you qualify for a permanent residency, which actually it's a nice medium for you to actually enter the German system and then settle in Germany. So there are so many ways to consider relocating to Germany. But for me, I think studying in Germany is one of the best options we have out there. So that would be my experience in general. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Paul. That was super insightful. And yeah, I think I didn't know he was through the other 50% scholarship, but I think this information can be also be very important for most of the people who are coming from Ghana. But I think it's also important for everyone on this call because most of the scholarships are open to many countries. I saw a question. Yeah, if you have a scholarship, you don't need to have a block account. The block account is for people like who are just coming on their own to fund their studies. Then in that case, you need to have a block account. And somebody said after you get the German work visa, can you relocate to the rest of EU? The German work visa is a visa that allows you to work and live in Germany. Of course, you can travel around EU, but it doesn't mean you can live in other countries. You're only allowed to live and work in Germany with your German work visa. That is why it's a German work
Kenny,
visa. Sorry?
can I come in? Yeah, a bit of
Yeah, sure.
correction.
You can
So
come in.
yeah, it depends on the work visa you get. If you get
Okay.
an EU blue card, then you are allowed to work across other
EU.
European countries because
Yeah.
the EU blue card is different from the German work permits, but then it has like
Mm.
a salary threshold. So for example, the minimum is I think about for certain occupations is about 45,000 to 54,000. If you end this within a year, then you are qualified for an EU blue card. And then that gives you the right to actually travel across EU countries and then work in these EU countries for a number of days.
Yeah, I think the question was German work permit, so I answered the question based on the German work permit and not the EU blue card. But if you want to work around EU, we have the EU blue card, and I think we've talked about this in one of our last webinars. So you can also reach out to us if you need support in applying or understanding how this work. Yeah, but we have the EU blue card that allows you to move around EU. I saw some questions from Grace. I'm not sure if this has been answered. I do have three questions. Which is the most advantageous with the chance of getting a partial or fully funded scholarship, applying as a married couple or individually? Did Danica or Paul, do you want to answer this first question? Is it advantageous to apply for a partial scholarship or fully funded? I know DAAD is always fully funded scholarships. There are foundations, organizations that give partial funded. Yeah, but I know DAAD is a fully funded scholarship. And I think scholarship, they will always look at how strong is your motivation. They will also look into your academic grades from your bachelor's. There's a lot of factors into play. How strong is your application as well? But maybe, Dedanika, do you want to add something about this?
Yeah, I don't even think you can apply for a scholarship as a married couple. And it's individual, so it's depending on you and what you're studying and your merit yourself. But as Kenny just said, the DAD does offer full scholarships. But yeah, you would need to apply separately, as far as I know off the top of my head. But going
Yeah.
on to your second question, where you're talking about the courses that you and your husband want to take. You said you've been searching for a master's program in artificial intelligence in business. And is there a similar course available, but maybe in a different name? I can't say off the top of my head. I don't know if Kenny or Paul know if
Yes.
there's a different name for it, but
Yeah, I mean, where this said, I think during the first few slides, we mentioned all the websites you can start applying. We have the My Jama University. So just go on My Jama University. You see there are a lot of courses in business and AI. If you also look at the DAAD My Guide, we have these applications there, these courses there. So I don't know where you have been checking before, but in the last few slides or the first few slides, maybe Danica, you can go back to that slide. You will see
yeah,
all
I'm just looking for it.
the platform on where to find these courses. Then in terms of the success rates for applications for programs with scholarship, to be honest, there is no formula in terms of success rates. It depends on the amount of funding for that year. It depends on how many countries and the numbers they are targeting. Yeah. So there is no formula. So here you have the DAAD My Guide, where you can apply for these courses. You can just search. Yeah, you have the My Jama University on the right hand side. You can see. You can just search the subject and then it will show you all the universities. And then we have the higher education compass on the top right corner. So yeah, also you can search. So these platforms are I think somebody even asked Solomon. Yeah, so you can check these platforms as a way to look for the courses of your choice. And like I said, if you need one-on-one support and application support, you can just write us at terratalent and we can be able to support you with the application and also getting you the admission. Yeah. So yes, I think this is all. We're already 2 minutes beyond our time. I think that's all from my end. I don't know if Danica wants to say the last words.
No, just with regards to finding a degree program, you can tailor it to the specific field. So perhaps if you just search in the field artificial intelligence or what was if you scroll back to or business management, it may take a bit of scrolling. You might have to scroll through quite a lot, but then maybe then you would find this very specific course. But yeah, but Kenny's pretty much covered all of it anyway. And like Kenny said, so which location can you use to get a scholarship? There is no specific location. There are, like I said before, there are programs. So the DAAD does have programs. So for certain countries, and that if you go onto the website, you can find out if, depending on your location, there is a specific program that may benefit you. But there is no location that makes it easier for you to get a scholarship. It's dependent on you and your individual, your merit, your experience, this kind of stuff. But yeah, thank you. Paul's already answered that in the chat. Yes, full scholarship does mean that your living expenses are covered as well. So they pay you, I think it's around 800 euros per month or something like that. I think it depends on
It's
where you
900.
are as well.
Yeah,
Pardon?
it covers all your costs. It's
Yeah.
like over close to 1K. Yeah. Because
Mhm.
every year they are increasing the amount because the living cost is also increasing. Yeah, if you get a school scholarship, full scholarship, it covers your entire cost.
Yeah. So yeah, I hope that has answered those questions. And we're going to end it there. But as we said, definitely if you have any more questions, you can contact us here. You can email, scan the QR code, and we're open to helping you out. But yeah, thank you everyone for coming. And we hope you have a nice rest of your day.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining and see you in our next webinar in May. Yeah. Bye, everyone.
Yes.
Enjoy your day.
Oh no, it's at the end of this month actually. I think it's the last week of April, and it's about opportunity card.
Okay, awesome.
But you'll find it on our website.
All right, bye, everyone.
Thank you.